Thanks guys, welcome to the Live Like a Pro interview. I have Jake with me today, he's Head of Performance at Mad Lions. Thank you for joining me ahead of your game. So tell me about yourself, how did you arrive in esports and what were you doing before joining this adventure?
I knew Mac, the head coach currently at Mad Lions from university. So we've been friends for quite a while. And previously I was working as an osteopath.
And what were you interested in when you joined esports? How does one become the head of performance for an esports team?
I have been into sport all of my life, ranging from martial arts to rugby, cycling, you name it, a little bit of everything, circus. So I've been interested in that pursuit of excellence, which is what I'm interested with over here. I've not really been a big gamer, but working with the elite, working with the people that are trying to be the best of the best, this is what I find fascinating.
So I know that you were working with the same organization last year, being Splice, now Mad Lions. So did you have time to adjust what you want to give to players, and what is the plan this year with Mad Lions players?
We've made a few adjustments from last year. I was working freelance before and was only towards the end of the summer split that I was working with them. So it was fixing some of the bigger issues initially. Now we've got the whole season ahead of us. We've had a little bit more time to plan in the off season. So we've started to implement sleep tracking. That's a big one that we're doing this year. I think there's a few other areas that are of big importance. We've got a new team this year. We've got 4 rookies. So again, we're having to take some steps back and recover some of the stuff that we did last year. But yeah, moving forward, it's looking really positive.
But you got to keep one player at least, Marek, Humanoid, because he was playing with Splice last year. So do you see any improvements or changes with what you've been able to teach him?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult because the players don't have much time. They're committing to a lot of time playing the game, a lot of time in solo queue. So the time that we have is really small, especially as the support staff. We are looking to train smart, not hard. We're looking to find the most effective, most efficient thing that we can do that requires the least amount of time and effort to get the maximum amount of results. So that might change from week to week, day to day, depending on what problems there are or what difficulties we're facing at the time.
All right, well, for example, what was the main focus coming in this week?
This week, we've been really working on communication with the players. There's been a few problems within the team, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing that any other team doesn't have, but these are problems that we're trying to resolve before they become bigger and the stress increases towards the tail end of the split.
We'll see how it translates on the Rift today. Okay, last question now. I was talking to Fabian from Excel last week. He was telling me about the routine before the guys go on the Rift and they're ready to go on fight mode. So what is the routine for the Mad Lions player? Coming in the studio, what do you guys do?
We tend to do a little bit of a meditation, just to calm everyone down, just to center everyone and get everyone in the same state. And then we look at doing some neurological warm-ups, some reaction speed games to, again, get them ready to go on stage, get them ready to be at the right heart rate, which is another thing that we're particularly looking at this year. The routine's slightly different every week. We mix things in, do things a little bit differently each week, so it's not too stale. And each of the players are looking to develop some of their own individual routine that they go through themselves as well.
Well, this routine plus communication looks like you guys are all set for this week. Thank you very much for all these insights. Now back to you guys.
Cheers.
Awesome stuff from Laure there, and that was Jake, the performance coach from Mad Lions, taking a break from his busy schedule, being a dwarf in the mines of Moria, to provide some help to the guys here at the LEC. Frost, what do you make of that?
I mean, I kind of want to grab the last point where he's talking about, the meditation and kind of getting his guys ready to go on stage, because it is such a young squad, and it feels like so much of the tone has been set by the Recklesses and the Perks and these very experienced players, where they have the banter, they have the personality that goes along with it, that fans forget that we also have a bunch of real really young, frankly, because I'm old, babies that come onto the stage where you can see them shake in interviews. They're holding the microphone with 2 hands. And I think it's always just a very different world, especially in the LEC when you have so many young faces to remember. Not everyone is like Perkz and Reckless who are comfortable up there. And sometimes those stage jitters do make your hand shake.
Oh, no doubt about it. And, you know, focusing on youngsters, it often means we're talking about rookies. And Mad Lions, they came into this league this year. And so far, we have seen a lot of promise from the young guns. Their champion pool, however, does seem to need some work. Now, initially the conversation we had prior to broadcast was, is it the draft? And your answers, both of you, was no, it's champion pool. So that means we're looking at someone specific. What's happening here, Yamato?
I think the one that stands out right away is Humanoids, because I think anything that doesn't really have that like mobility, like a Kali or LeBlanc, anything with 2 jumps, honestly.
Sure.
When Humanoid plays on the side lane, he tends to die a lot. And whenever he's playing a champion like the Kaiser, we saw that in the game against G2, he's getting caught over and over when his team is in base. Completely disconnected from what's going on. The kind of Vichichachi spirit is living on in him.
I like to call it an effective champion pool because obviously at this level, especially for a guy as talented as Humanoid is mechanically, he can play anything. I'm sure if he locked it in, he can physically do it, but it's what is the most effective pick for him, and it is those high mobility assassins, things like the LeBlanc, things like the Qiyana. And as Yamato's talking about, when he doesn't have that get out of jail free card, that band-aid, he's not as effective onto side lanes. So actually reminds me a lot of Pawn. Pawn's an old school League player, and when Pawn was on a champion that had a lot of mobility, he looked amazing. When he was on something that was quite static, that's when you got to see some of those cracks and those weaknesses, and I think that's where Humanoid really rests.
Yeah, and you used the word weakness. I want to double check, Yamato. This is without a doubt when we're talking about a professional player with a weak or a small effective champion pool. That is a weakness. Is there another word you'd use that's better fitted?
I think it's definitely a weakness. I think is the correct term. I think when you're looking at Humanoid's scope of his career of just last year, the meta was relatively the same all the time. We had the Silases, we had the Akali. They got nerfs, but they stayed in. Akali stays in now, and now Akali has turned into a permaban. I think a lot of mid laners, not only Humanoid, have been exposed like this. Abedag is another name. Without Akali, they look a lot worse, because Akali is just plain old broken.
I've heard about the dives into those towers.
It makes them not meta resistant, and that's the thing. As the game continues to shift, they will slowly fall away. And for where Humanoid came in and kind of the hype that he was sitting on, he was supposed to be the 3rd best mid laner behind a guy like Nemesis, and now that gap is getting larger and larger, and now he's squaring off against Larssen across from him, and Larssen can look at Humanoid and be like, you were the the hot shit on the block last time around, and I can race through you right now because I can play it all. I can play the assassins, I can play the control mages, and I can do so in style.
And parallels to be drawn perhaps between the two. It's something we talked about yesterday, but Mad Lions perhaps, following in the footsteps of Rogue last year. We saw rookies forming into what is now seen as a formidable squad. Do you see similar echoes in Mad Lions this year?
I think the biggest difference maker is here with Rogue is that they started at the point where they already have built up a good fundamental. The question mark, will they continue at that same point in this split? They have. They continue to grow, and I think the trajectory looks a bit higher in the beginning of the split here for Rogue.
Okay, all eyes on Rogue as they continue to run with this momentum they built up over the last split. We will see who takes this win as we are going to be jumping in. It's going to be Rogue taking on Mad Lions. Let's hit the rift.
Thank you very much, Alex. And I have to agree with Yamato. Rogue's trajectory looking fantastic because while they did lose to G2 yesterday, it felt like they were just short of a win, and it feels like they're the closest of any team we've seen so far.
Yeah, so far. Of course, we have the game coming up later today, but to me, I thought Rogue lost to the Seraka pick more than they lost to G2. We got into those late game team fights, and it felt so impossible for them to play, but for a long time, especially Larssen in that mid lane, made a lot of really good moves to put Rogue in a good spot.
This, of course, will be a very different game, so get ready for picks and bans for Game 3. With this absolute banger in the background. I've never heard this one before. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting really hyped for a Game 3. I'm about it.
I hope the music continues, though, because if we just drop that and then...
You can't just give us the OOOs. We need the full chorus. But, well, at least we'll get the full pick and ban immediately. We're going to see the MF banned away, the Aphelios and the Senna, of course, still up and available. But the MF has been Carzzy's most comfortable pick thus far, of course, infamously flashing forward. And since they're on blue side, it looks like Rogue are adapting the strategy of banning every good AD carry except for one in hopes of getting it with their first
and just
pick.
leave that up for Han Sama here. Han Sama really has enjoyed his hand on that Senate. Wait a second.
Wow.
Wait, no. Wow. What
We're
have they
going
done?
back.
Okay, so right now...
I'm not allowed to bet, but if I was allowed to bet, I would say right now Hansama Draven.
Yes.
Hansama Draven.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. Between these two AD carries, neither of them have played a champion that was not Misfortune, Aphelios, or Senna. Now, Finn, of course, famously lost to the Seraka that came in first against VandeR, or he lost to it yesterday, of course. So going through a couple of those hovers, but I really like this, starting off with the Jarvan. Right now, I actually think the AD carries, because we banned the big three, the priority doesn't actually rise on what you pick next. Because now, with all the S tiers gone, you have a pretty wide A tier to choose from if you want to go for a pocket Draven or Carzzy go for something, you know, a little bit more niche himself. I think this is where you actually look to get these stronger power picks remaining, like the Jarvan, and then respond in kind with the jungler.
Interesting that they prioritize the Jarvan over the Gragas, because for me, one of Jarvan's big strengths is that we sit in a meta where all the AD carries are immobile, and if the enemy team picks an AD carry with a dash, Jarvan's going to feel just generally a lot worse as a champion, whereas Gragas feels pretty universally solid. But we heard from Kadriel before, he really prefers Jarvan overall in terms of tier list picks.
Right, and the thing is, Inspired as a player is very much about early game. He loves to look for early invades as well, so going buff, 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 just triple your opposition and really get in their face, which you definitely can do in this matchup.
And I'm excited to see what Carzzy can do now on the likes of a Kai'Sa. Obviously entirely auto attack focused, the potential to be incredibly flashy, a guy that's been heralded a lot as a new rookie in the scene, but this is going to be a little bit tougher, I think, overall.
I honestly just want to see like the Thresh Draven or something. Just like actually go back to Hansama classics here. Go for something heavy in the bot lane. I don't want to reverse to 2019. There we go.
That was the freest prediction of our lives. Welcome back, Hansama. You thought he was on stage for the last 4 or 5 games. You were wrong. Hansama, as of this moment, is back. That's a passion.
I like it.
But now the question is, okay, you said Thresh we're instantly looking at for support pairings. Obviously, the support pool is otherwise untouched, so instead we're going to go for Papa Thresh, a.k.a. Nautilus, and that's going to be very frustrating for the
It's
Kai'Sa.
like Thresh, but if his R was point and click now. So.
Yes, if he had a good ultimate. Yes, true.
Doesn't matter how far you try to run away with Kai'Sa, that will end up tracing her. So now Rogue have already set it up. I actually expect to see Inspired try to split the map early. And of course, there's more champions to come on through here, but to me, this already tells me that this is going to feel like an old Misfits Hansama Draven in the bottom lane, where a lot of the play is geared around him, where Inspired tries to force Shadow towards the top side of the map. And with a Braum down there next to the Kai'Sa, that's, again, not a lot of firepower. It's more of, let's play a little bit safer. We'll scale up into the mid to late game for those team fights. So that's something that Humanoid and the rest of Mad Lions have to have on their mind.
Now the Aatrox has been banned away from Finn. I'm curious to see where Rogue put the rest of their resources and how Mad Lions respond to this Draven lane, because so far it's, hey, let's sit, let's play back, but then what does that mean for their solo lanes? Are we going to see Rogue say, early game's all about Draven, so we'll draft some scaling on other parts of the map? How exactly are they going to approach it?
Well, it could be that Mad Lions, I mean, coming out of these next two bans, they want to look for something that can flex between both mid lane and top lane, so they don't really reveal their hand over against Rogue. And while we haven't seen Humanoid play the Ornn in the mid lane, I think that's a relatively safe champion that you could go ahead and take fourth here. Other options include the likes of the Mordekaiser, but again, can struggle against some matchups here. So I think, at least, if you go for something with that heavy initiation like the Ornn, you'd be set up for a really good team fight where there's so much CC to proc Kai'Sa's passive.
And one thing that I do like in the second ban phase, we're seeing the AD mid laners taken off the pool. They see that Gragas in the jungle. They know that's a big source of magic damage. They want to limit the viable AD champions left. Yasuo, of course, still on the board, can disrupt a lot of what Rogue are trying to do.
So now what I'm wondering is, does the Gangplank come through here for Rogue? Because if you are trying to set up, you know, heavy kill this bottom lane, you gank them pre-6 with a Gangplank, you really smash them at level 6, and Braum doesn't really have a great answer to that. He's pretty good at a front-to-back team fight and stopping you from getting into the back lines. But if you just drop it from the top, like, does he angle the shield up? No, he can't do that, of course. So can make it very, very difficult, even come mid-game when these fights break out, when there's really nowhere for your team to run.
Yeah, and of course the good news is Kai'Sa, as we mentioned before, isn't quite as immobile as a lot of the other champions that we're seeing picked recently, so she does have the freedom, if she's got a target mark, to dash out of that Gangplank ultimate, but it will be the LeBlanc, so a lot of mobility in these fights, not quite as, I think, easy or clear for Mad Lions to play them out, but also going to be a lot harder for Rogue to lock down some of the carry threats on the side of Mad Lions.
I'm thinking Larssen probably goes back to a control mage here, assuming we're getting a physical damage dealer in the top lane for Finn, which is a pretty safe assumption to make, I think, without seeing the opponents. It's going to be the Lissandra.
Lissandra was so... I love it. Okay, Rogue. All right, we're all about the wombo comp. We're going to push stun. We're going to drag him in. We're going to face break him. We're going to show stop him. And I respect it. Opposite side, though, for Mad Lions, they have so many tools to just walk away from you, to just out-heal you. There it is, the Seraka top. And this is not going to be a fun matchup for Finn.
Dude, I really don't like the blind Sett. I'm going to be honest with you. Seraka is going to be able to run all over him in this early game. Now, just looking at the Mad Lions comp, they were relatively low range, but you consider the displacement they have, the peel they have as well. This is a comp that is going to be playing back in fights and putting a lot of resources into Carzzy in this game. So it really is about getting Carzzy towards that mid-game 2 items on this Kai'Sa and then making sure that the dive from Rogue cannot work. But on the other hand, Rogue, they have the tools again to play around this bottom lane, especially in the early game. So target Carzzy early has to be the idea for them.
I mean, absolutely has to be. This feels like a Fnatic draft from last season where you've got a Lissandra, you've got a ganking jungler. We're going to see TPs coming into the bot lane ready for an all-out brawl just to snowball this Draven forward. Because if Hansama gets going, we know that he will take over the game. But before you get that first kill, Draven's kind of just another AD carry.
Yeah, and remember, these guys put so many resources into banning away AD carries, so Rogue are all about getting Hansama into a very comfortable position in this game. I'm just happy that we're getting to see some new picks here, Drakos, in all honesty, because it has been stale in the bot lane.
All it took were 3 direct bans at one specific player.
Now if we could just get 3 direct nerfs.
Wow. 10-3.
10-3, it's coming soon.
Coming to a stage near you soon. But this is it. We're getting ready to go. Rogue versus Mad Lions for our 3rd game of the day. Folks, this is my favorite kind of League of Legends, because on one side, we got a team comp that very clearly wants to do one thing, and that is snowball Draven. On the other side, we have a team comp that very clearly wants to make sure that that never happens, and when we keep it simple like that, it's easy to follow, and I love it.
Dude, we're going to have a rumble on the Rift early, though, because as we mentioned, Rogue want to play around bot lane early. Mad Lions with a Braum at level 1 and Seraka, Hercule really, really powerful here, are on the hunt. And you can already see Shadow starting with a sweeper himself to make sure they're not spotted on the approach.
How much money?
It's about to be a 5v5, and honestly, I think Mad Lions absolutely smash.
100% do. Body slam, multiple targets, potentially the cask as well. Could be huge. Hansama. Going to be a threat, but it's not going to outmatch Braum. But Kaiser lands
Finn
here. Finn, Haymaker, they've spotted him. That's the boss, but now they know everybody's here.
Fight him.
2, 3, they don't know. They're using Finn as bait. They haven't seen anybody else. Humanoid stepping forward. Nautilus not going to connect. That's a big disaster. Mad Lions get control of the jungle. They're ready to split the map, to deny access to the bottom side to Rogue. That is huge for their bottom lane.
Okay, let's be real, though. Everyone wanted to fight, and we didn't get it. They just backed away here.
It was pretty clear that Rogue did not want that
Okay,
fight.
we're going to get the fight, though, because now both top laners still sticking around here. They want in, but honestly, I am surprised Rogue want to take this.
That's the hook in, but this could just be a disaster. Instantly stunned. Nautilus, what are you doing? VandeR overcommits, but he does not go down. Hansama stacking up a little bit of damage here.
Why are they staying? Leave, Rogue.
What was that? That was a bad, bad, bad Nautilus hook. That was... Mad have gotten everything they wanted, and Rogue just walked in and delivered it to them. The TP will be used. Orome going to use that to get a little bit of extra lane pressure, but that's a flash and a heal burned from the bottom lane of Rogue, and they still concede bottom side, forcing a split map. Disastrous level 1.
And the thing is, top lane 2 for Seraka is now going to be a little bit isolated, but looking at the wave state, that should push back in towards the side of Orome, so everything that Mad Lions sort of wanted, they are now getting. And because all of Rogue's early vision was put down around this bottom side jungle, Inspired doesn't actually know where Shadow is on the map. He could be on his rafters, he could have gone back up towards his top side, and Inspired without a red buff can't actually look for an invade. So this entire early game has been absolutely ruined for Rogue.
Now we have to see how they recover. Inspired incredibly low as he clears the jungle. Has the smite, he can heal up. Slowly but surely work towards level 3, but he can't really walk into Shadow's jungle at this stage. Shadow recognizes this, walks up, is going to take both red buffs and deny a ton of XP to Inspired as he can't even 1-1 the Gragas, let alone the Gromp, just barely ticking over.
Yeah, Now, I will say there is a little bit of good news for Inspired. Shadow didn't actually end up fully counter-jungling the Raptor camp down there, so it got fully cleared away, which means it will respawn relatively soon. Respawn around level 4 too, so Inspired gets a little bit of bonus EXP back that Shadow could have looked to deny, but still cannot understate how good of a position Mad Lions are in now, knowing that they should be very, very safe to get through this lane phase.
Finn still continuing to push forward. Bit of a risk because they don't have perfect knowledge on where Gragas is. Because of the split map, it seems like they're assuming that he is on bottom side.
Yeah, and even more than just the early jungler pathing getting messed up a little bit. I mean, I love to see Shadow run down here and make sure he gets the Scuttle Crab as well. Is under-leveled, but VandeR, no flash, no heal for Hansama either, so any sort of a play here would not be easy to pull off.
Inspired, though, still committing to the bottom side. No red buff, but a level advantage currently over Shadow. Now Finn with a bit of aggressive trading as Orome definitely not happy with that one. Of course, self-sustain from Seraka is there, but not nearly as high as the ambulance we can expect to see in about 15 minutes.
So now, because Inspired was able to recall, he's full HP and still wants to play for this blue buff. Notice he has that bot lane priority. So this is what we would have liked to see come through from Inspired earlier on into the game, had he not been slowed down. Now, the question is, can Humanoid make it on over? Because Humanoid does have control over the wave in mid right now, but it's going to be very difficult to actually make that move.
But now, with Vision on the bottom side, it does free up Finn to just continuously pressure in here. Not too worried about losing out on the trades, the extra health regen, and the lack of, well, all-in damage from the Seraka means he's not under threat until the Gragas comes.
Shadow wants this to reset.
Not gonna work the flag drag through. VandeR's there for the follow-up. Shadow now locked up. His flash is available, trying to heal off the camp. He's gonna go over. The body slam gonna connect with Inspired. Beautiful play from the Jarvan. One flag. Where's it gonna go? Right from the sky. Shadow, can he make it out?
Here comes Braum and Humanoid.
Ooh, Kaiser, though, on the way. Inspired may have overstayed his welcome, or have Rogue found the genius play. Kaiser running for his life. Larssen ready. Will not commit the flash, but Kaiser forced to flash out to safety, and Rogue recover a disastrous level 1 now, and complete control of the bottom side.
And now Carzzy is actually isolated bot lane. He's very low as well, so without flashes, a dive may be difficult, but you can see he probably just has to give up this next minion wave entirely just because of the threat that Rogue's positioning in that bot side jungle presents.
Mad. Just too stubborn on that play. We're not willing to give it the blue buff. Shadow too desperate to force it to reset, and as a result, you know, easy to force out that instant kill and still denying him the objective in the end.
It was really strange too, because Kaiser basically said, I'm gonna leave. Notice how he runs down to bot lane as the wave comes in, but like, Carzzy can't be dove here because VandeR's still in the jungle, so he just bails. Now Shadow's here by himself trying to land the smite steal, and then obviously doesn't really have anywhere to go once his body slam gets blocked there by Inspired.
Really wanted to make it out of that one. Aggressive play comes in from Humanoid. Inspired left all on his lonesome, and Shadow instantly turns it right back around.
What's going on?
I like it. I'm ready. I love the back and forth. The confidence from Humanoid to go in there, knowing that Lissandra wasn't going to have enough damage to really threaten, knowing that Shadow was first to the play. Well executed, but also, this is not quite the, the first 2 moves felt very clean and calculated, and by the third move, I started wondering if we're playing checkers or chess.
Yeah, I don't really know the answer on that one. I guess watch and learn. As we see the replay in mid lane one more time, because it is a level 3 Inspired, even with double buffs. Very, very squishy, and the Predator boots had come in for Shadow, so yeah, he didn't have any Q because he tried to clear the way.
And to be fair, yeah, they're just trying to clear. They're just trying to get a good back for Larssen, but excellent punish from the side of Mad to deny that opportunity. Still obviously going to give somebody a back in the end, but just not under the circumstances they would have liked.
So here's the thing. If we assume that Mad Lions have the scaling advantage, which I think we absolutely have to say that, you have the hyper carry Seraka in the top lane with all the healing coming through. Wow. I mean, I'm not joking. She does it. She does it all. Carzzy, of course, the more items he gets, just going to continue to ramp up, and until Hansama can cash in, won't have a huge advantage there outside of just some laning dominance here with Carzzy farming under the tower. So Rogue really do want to get more done in this early game, and a big point we called out in the draft was ganking this bot lane. Well, they split the map, they were able to invade, kill Shadow, but now they can't really execute on that further, I feel, because they lost their teleport in that mid lane play. Finn TP'd into mid, Orome will have both his teleport and his ultimate up as well. So dives in the bot lane going to be near impossible, I feel like, unless you can bring Larssen in as well with a good roam out of mid, but that isn't really all that likely in the Lissandra LeBlanc matchup.
And of course, when you look at champions like Shen in the past, the logic was always gank to Shen because he's got the inter-map mobility. I wonder if we see Rogue attempt the same strategy. They say, hey, Hansama, you can wait. We'll get you a cash-in later. Well, they're going to have to wait a little bit longer. VandeR locked up, but a good input buffer there on the hook will take him out to safety. Hansama's still in trouble, though. Whirling Death comes in. They have to be careful. If they overcommit here, it's going to be a kill for Hansama. The heals are coming in. Kaiser burning down. VandeR takes takes it! That's tragic! Ignite! That was like a 500 gold Ignite there.
But also, Orome just ulted late. It did nothing. It was after he had already died, so complete waste there. May have been able to escape Kaiser from that fight. Instead, it is just that counter gank in the bot lane that spins things around for Rogue. I don't think that should have gone that way.
Once again, well played from Rogue, but 700 gold lead. They're slowly starting to build up. Draven not going to get the cash out, but a bit more control over the wave. A CS advantage starting to build, and I mean, for Hansama, a good look. Busted out against Carzzy. Carzzy, a guy that we looked at and talked about as being one of the potential big names we expect to see rising. Obviously, the numbers look fantastic, but Hansama, not a guy you can ever afford to count out. Hasn't necessarily been the center of attention, I feel like, on this Rogue lineup this season thus far, but a Draven game is a good way to change that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new look, right? Because Hansama always was the player that his teams look to play around, especially on picks like this. So something we're going to have to continue to track. Still waiting on him to get that first kill, though. Now, both teams rotating up towards this Rift Herald at the moment. And you can see Carzzy and Kaiser came up here. Orome's here, too. So Mad Lions are saying, we're sending 5 people into this play. And they should get it because Rogue are going to be really delayed with their solo lanes.
3k health dropping. They want the eye to open again. They want to burst this one down as Humanoid tries to poke. Could look to commit to VandeR, but
no flash on VandeR.
Take him out. Carzzy just runs face first in, though. He's not afraid. One quick kill pick up, but Lissandra and Sett are on the way in.
Still want to fight.
Finn can look for the dive. He's going to dunk the Seraka. Whoa! Boom combo! That's what you love to see.
Absolutely murdered in the river right there. And fans love it too, because that was a 4 versus 5 straight up. Matt had spent everything on towards the flashless VandeR.
It looks so good, but this is the thing. We look at Matt's comp, and we talked about this. You have to avoid, because at the end of the day, if Rogue group and they push R, it doesn't matter if VandeR is missing from the fight. That's so much AoE when it's stacked up like that.
They have a lot of circles of CC and damage. And Mad Lions are in this perfect little grouped up cluster in the river and got absolutely slammed.
Yeah, Frost likes to call it the Venn diagram comp. That was a circle comp. It all lined up purposely. It was one area of effect.
It was a cylinder. It's just tons of circles on
the
top.
The only tragic thing is Hansama still didn't get a kill. But for Matt, it feels like they had the right idea, but didn't respect how much damage the Sett and the Jarvan could do together.
Ooh. Good damage in mid lane. Now, it did look like for a second there, Rogue were trying to set up a dive top lane, but remember, Seraka ult should always be able to come through. That's something we're going to have to continue to keep our eyes on, especially because Orome is going very heavy on the CDR right off the bat. We'll see this play one more time, because again, it's a good start from Humanoid. It's a level 5 VandeR without a flash, so they spend a lot to go ahead and get onto it. But here's the thing, Mad can't commit up or down in this situation. They're just sort of stuck in the middle of everyone. It's a beautiful ulti to get all the damage and the CC lock on top of the Whirling Death.
My God.
What can you do?
I don't know. Wherever Dwayne The Rock Johnson is, he just got a tinge in the back of his neck. He doesn't know why. We know why. Fantastic moment.
Does he play League?
WWE highlights. Who knows, man?
He would be a Sett main.
That's kind of what we just assumed. They're like, I play Seraka top. We're like, never mind.
Could you imagine?
We're not excited about you anymore.
He's like, actually just, no, I'm the Tooth Fairy, guys.
Oh, man. Here we go, though. I think it was so back and forth up until that moment, Ender. I feel like, to a certain degree, Mad were matching Rogue blow for blow. But now that that play turned so catastrophically against them, it's gonna be hard to recover. Now, admittedly, Humanoid's still strong in the individual 1v1. Orome is still incredibly obnoxious to deal with. Maybe there's that late game team fight where Carzzy's just has an infinite health bar, courtesy of the Seraka, but it will be difficult to pull off. For now, though, looks like Dunk is coming out. He's going to try to find the follow-up. The Haymaker, where's it going to go? Nowhere as Finn gets knocked down.
It's a good trade right there from Mad as they look towards Larssen.
Then Silence goes through. Flash! Ah! Humanoid! Looks him dead in the eye as he finishes it out.
The infamous Seraka lane gank right there just to drop the silence. A little bit of extra damage. Nice stuff there from Mad, winning in 2 lanes and trading the Dragon over for it as well. So they give up the first 2 Drakes, but now have the potential, if they like their odds in a team fight, to really contest around this ocean map.
Yeah, and just as I'm saying that Rogue are really far ahead and Mad need to find a way back. They find a way back. They're looking to contest. Now they're giving up a lot to find those kills on the top side of the map. Hansama uncontested as he breaks down this bottom lane tower. Even more gold in the back pocket of the Draven, and we already know he's got to be racking up those adoration stacks. So have to be careful, but for Mad Lions, it's a good look that they're able to find some sort of advantage even when they have fallen behind.
think he's at 343 right now on the Draven, so waiting to get a whole lot of dough on that. A lot of dollars, a lot of euros, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. A lot of different options.
Still say dough. I think it's pretty universal.
It's universal?
Yeah, I think it's okay, dude.
Okay.
It's not like
There's not like a Baker Draven skin, though, so I don't know. There should be.
There you go.
That's an idea.
Riot, make it happen.
He throws 2 giant pizzas.
Hold that thought. Pizza's a good idea, though. Finn now has to be careful as Humanoid dashes forward. Just pulling back, just trying to buy a bit of time.
Here comes the rest of Rogue.
Finn is taking the bait, though. That's a fat haymaker, but sadly, Seraka ult's going to be more than enough to deny that one. Finn absolutely and totally baited.
Yeah, but Humanoid may be baited too, because Rogue, while they're late to the party, they are finally here.
Wait, who's baiting who?
I don't know, they're baiting themselves.
Huh. There's a name for that. Rogue continuing to push in on the top side. Gonna break down this tower, I think, pretty easily. You just don't want to walk face first to the Draven. Without full confidence, you can kill him. But I like the confidence. Humanoid steps forward, dodges, side steps. It looks good, but he has to be careful. That was not the move he wanted to make.
Oh, no.
Draven
That's the money.
733 gold. Hansama laughing straight to the bank.
Why would he do that? I was just about to say, Mad Lions, while they get a kill in top lane and they give up pressure because they're down in numbers, they're pushing mid, they're pushing bot, denying a whole lot of minions. But no, Humanoid jumps on in there and now may be at risk of losing yet another tower. But with Carzzy coming on up,
I like this too.
Should be able to force him off.
Yeah, Carzzy with the ultimate, of course, getting a lot of respect here from Rogue. They're going to back off. It feels like they maybe could have fully committed to the tower, but did not want to take the risk. Of course, Hansama, now that he has cashed out, a little less important for him to stay deathless in this game, but is just now working towards a potential second cash out.
Yeah, he's up about 2.5k gold over Carzzy at the moment. So when we talk about scaling, well, that's going to be a little bit later. The side of Mad Lions now, and that turret does come on through. So Rogue doing a good job of recovering after Finn got a little bit too antsy to go for that play in the top lane earlier on. Now, the other thing that I think is worth mentioning on the other side of the map, on Mad's side, is the fact that they have the Seraka. And this means that come mid-game, come late game especially, Seraka, she wants to be with the team. She turns into a support later on. It's not about the split push anymore. So while, yes, Orome is pushing out top lane, right now, the later this game gets, the more threat a Finn or a Larssen will pose to Orome. So for Mad Lions, this game is going to be about activating Humanoid in a side lane. And as the analyst desk was setting up, Humanoid has a lot of isolated deaths. 7 so far in the split. Playing side lanes especially has been a difficulty for him. So this is something that for Mad Lions' composition to work out, he really needs to be on point with.
It's also difficult too because these are side laners that a single rotation will not kill. He does not have the luxury of one-shotting, so really has to play it patient, and that's more time for Finn to find an ally. But for now, Finn is just going to get knocked back here. They're trying to find the stun, trying to commit. Haymaker comes out. Goes the face breaker. Showstopper to try to run back to safety. The knockup is there, but he flashes out. The timing perfect from Finn. The CC just slightly mislayered.
Yeah, I would like to see Shadow try to use that ultimate when when Finn rather locks himself into the Haymaker animation. Of course, he can flash during that spell, but gives you a bit of a better window to go for that play themselves. Now, Inspired picks up Rift Herald, and they take top lane tower. So while you might say, yes, Mad Lions get that bottom lane, Rogue effectively from this play should be able to cash in 2 for 1 on the towers, using that Rift Herald primarily to break this mid lane, which is very, very low. But you can just go ahead and drop that one, and it gives you so much more control inside the enemy jungle.
Yeah, 3,500 gold lead. They've got the Herald, they've got the pressure in the mid lane. So while you got to respect Mad Lions for going for the play, committing 3 people's time and not finding a kill means, once again, another play going in favor of the Rogue lineup. Ender, and I don't think it gets better. Yeah, that's a big number. Almost 9,000 gold, 16 minutes into the game.
He's sitting on 1,600 right now too, so
you just got a random Carzzy. Well, that's stupid money. He's like, I'm gonna go IE second, but I'm just sitting on this extra 800, so I'll just get a Carzzy. Why not?
Why not? A little bit extra damage here. Now, Hansama not recalling before the Drake spawns is a little bit unfortunate because it means a lot of that advantage that he actually has is not being spent in active itemization here. Larssen also caught clearing away the blue buff on the top side of the map, so it is Mad Lions that get control over the Drake first. But still, I like Rogue's odds in a team fight, especially with Sett in the bot lane. If he can come around from a flank one more time and just sort of pick up and suplex Carzzy into his own
team. To the side. He has vision over the Raptor wall. He can come over here. He can use the wall to hide the Claw. Orome's going to get caught out here. Claw just barely visible. The flash already going in. Carzzy's zoned away. But sadly, Rogue have committed a lot of resources to this one and not really got much of anything.
Yeah, now Sett is on the flank here too, but losing Jarvan ultimate for Seraka Flash I don't think is worth with the context that this Drake is spawning right now. So this will give Mad Lions a much better chance of fighting around this objective.
But it's so hard because they do eventually, if they want that objective, have to go into the pit. And unless they get some more significant resources from Rogue, it is suicide to clump up against this lineup.
Thing is, there's one less of those circles they have to deal with. Spire losing that one, and I don't think Rogue are actually going to fight. The combination of Hansama not having spent that almost 2k gold, now over 2k gold, to finish off the Infinity Edge, and on top of that, losing Inspired's ultimate means Rogue won't contest. And all this does is simply delay the potential, you know, Ocean Soul win condition for this Rogue composition. And again, when we think that Mad Lions have the edge the later this one does go, you definitely want to speed that up if you're on the side of Rogue.
And that's the thing, because we keep talking about the scaling edge. It's just, I have to see the execution to believe in Ender, because I just think that this composition is much harder to play.
Right, and to be clear, scaling in this sense means different things. Because a lot of times people talk about scaling, it's like, oh, you know, 4 items, you start getting stronger. Well, go into every fight with the assumption Hansama just has a full item over Carzzy.
Yeah.
So until you can start to equalize that, the scaling really doesn't take full effect. Now, Seraka will try to mitigate for a lot of that and heal up the damage that Hansama does do. And as he works on the Redemption, the Ardent Sensor potentially for later on for Carzzy, that will lessen and lessen the advantage that Hansama does have.
Very true. And it's all eyes on Rogue to see if they can pull off the combo. But the thing about any composition where your goal is to press R is that the enemy team understands at all points exactly what you're trying to do. So if you ward flanks, if you're careful, if you're diligent on the side of Mad Lions, very easy to mitigate the potential strengths of Rogue. Obviously harder, though, when you are at a 4k gold deficit. You might even then has to be careful about stepping forward. Inspired and Shadow, both still only at level 9. A bit difficult. Enough of a constant stream of action and laners taking their camps that they haven't been able to get more. But Rogue will fully commit to the bottom side. No major objectives in sight, but seeing Carzzy in the top lane lets them know that they can force this tower down.
Yeah, they can push the next wave and actually get a big chunk on this bot lane tower. Remember the fact that Mad Lions don't have a great person to go into a side lane outside of LeBlanc, who's going to be a lot of damage for this team. So when she's not here, that's going to be a big deal. So Rogue, by opening up this inhibitor, gives them the ability to play a 4-1 and play around this Baron buff, where Mad Lions don't have a lot of great options, especially if Humanoid ever uses his teleport.
And additionally, I love having Sett on a side lane because he's so hard to kill, Ender, which means he's going to buy enough time for a team to take Baron or force down another objective. Of course, if you're curious about Rogue, their recent uptick in performance, their rising success, there's a post-match sit-down between Laure and Inspired to talk all about the Rogue lineup, to hear more about what's making everything work so well for them this season. Of course, the tone might shift drastically, though, if Mad Lions do pull out the win here. An 0-2 week for Rogue is what that would spell.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue, they have a very substantial advantage at the moment, so I think they're feeling very confident going towards, you know, the Baron phase. Now that that's spawned, you have a Drake spawning in 2.5 once again. Now, one thing I would like to mention is the Mikhail's Crucible picked up for Orome in the top lane. This is not an item you see every day, but of course, the cleanse-like feature means that it will be very effective against Larssen, especially diving towards either a Carzzy or a Humanoid, because neither of those two players elected to run the cleanse, even against that Lissandra. But when you look at the other CC options, it's not going to be super, super effective. No. So this really is just the single item to try and counter Lissandra.
Yeah, can mitigate some of the impact. I believe you can throw it and then your AD carry can flash in a similar vein to QSS flash, but obviously not quite one-size-fits-all save your AD carry sort of button. But between all the other buttons that Seraka has to save her AD carry, you have to imagine it'll be okay. Orome still at the point in the game where his wave clear is enough to kind of catch here on the top side. But now, with Finn pushing in on the bottom side of the map and the rest of Rogue setting up vision around Baron, their play is in full effect. Inhibitor down on the bottom side should make this much easier. And now we get to see how well Rogue can play around this Baron and how decisive Mad can be, because at some point they will have to pull the trigger on a play.
Right, so vision in this topside jungle around the Baron going to be very, very key here. Now, the difficulty for Mad Lions, as you can see right now, no vision whatsoever. They group up, they walk into the river, they're going to be fine just about now, but I do think it's quite difficult for them to sort of face check in when they don't have Humanoid with their team teleporting behind.
It's difficult if Inspired gets caught.
That's a double TP.
Drag over the wall, double TP from the backside. They're trying to find it. Inspired, Carzzy sees him isolated and wants to find the kill, but the entire fight is now split up. Finn gonna get locked up. Orome still alive for now. The knockup's there, but the entire team is retreated backwards. Hansama doing a lot of damage, but this is disastrous from Rogue. They burned all their major resources. Mad just need to find a follow-up fight. Rogue know it though. They know there's blood in the water. They know Mad are on the hunt, and they're gonna retreat.
It's really important Rogue are able to push away that mid lane wave right here. Now, Rogue are so low that I wonder if Mad Lions would be willing to go in towards that Baron buff just off of the resets. They have the, of course, the Kai'Sa with the Ginsu's Rageblade finish.
Braum on a stacked too.
I'm actually really surprised they don't turn around for that objective. Now, they could be just saying in their minds, we don't have to take the risk, right? You know, they think they outscale, of course, and, you know, Hansama finishing off a rapid fire now. You don't want to run into that into a team fight, but I do feel like that was potentially overly cautious here. Now, the fallout, had they gone for that play, would have meant that they would probably give up this Drake. They would almost certainly give up the Drake, whether or not they were able to secure that Baron buff too. So instead it will just be a reset for that objective, but now Rogue will get that uncontested because Carzzy is so late on the reset, and Humanoid still hasn't gone back, and he has basically no mana.
Yeah, so it felt like it started off as a very positive play for Mad is now not amounting to much, as they're not willing to take the risk for the follow-up.
So what Mad need to do here, I think, is I think you push mid and trade it for the tower. It's really hard to get into the pit.
It's exceptionally difficult. Additionally, a lot of the major cooldowns are
That's
now
great poke on Inspired, though.
Very low. Flag and Drag comes out. Shadow still with Predator active. He sees the opportunity to get the fight kicked off, and the Seraka has been locked up. But instantly, Larssen goes, but he landed the silence. It does not matter. However, Finn is in the back line. Mad Lions turning it right back, though. Carzzy remains uncontested. Inspire now running for the hills. Shadow on the front line. Knocks him back. VandeR's not going to input buffer that one, and he goes down. Mad, clean fighting to win the day.
Huge fight right there, and at the end of it, they lose no HP. Because they have the Seraka, they can now go for the Baron they were waiting for. It is the trade for the Drake and the Baron, just in the order we weren't necessarily expecting. And Inspired without a flash, it's going to be near impossible for him to make it into the pit.
Larssen locked up, gonna get taken out. No, there goes Hansama. He wants one more. The auto. Maybe he can go to the pit. Maybe they can try to contest this one. Inspire's moving in. Without the LeBlanc there, they're not doing nearly as much damage as they need to. 4K getting lower. Jarvan on the way in. The flag, the drag, the flash.
Stop hitting it.
It's
Turn.
available. The silence is there. They backed off. They want to finish it. The knockup is there. They burned everything. He can't get into the pit, though. Well played by Mad. They deny access to Inspired, and they secure the Baron.
Excellent patience right there coming out from the rookie squad. This is the fight around the Dragon one more time, because Inspired gets blown up so quickly right there. It's just Rogue, they want to turn, they want to run away, but no. It is Mad Lions finding this huge initiation, and the silence that makes it so Inspired can't press his R for so long, or rather, Larssen can't press the ultimate. And then VandeR misses the wall here. That's just a heartbreaker.
I feel like up until that moment, he had successfully input buffered every Nautilus Q to block a piece of CC.
Well, when it matters most, didn't work. Don't know what to tell him.
Inspired, though, now finishing the stone play. VandeR has one of his own, so a little bit more tankiness after the initial burst of damage and CC from the support and jungler, respectively. But Finn right back to that side lane, knowing this is where he needs to be if Rogue are going to win the game. Threatening this inhibitor, making sure that the pressure is on Mad Lions to make a move.
And with Finn in the side lane, it's very difficult for Mad Lions to actually get much. Wait, they're just giving the inhibitor.
They don't need it.
Why?
They're mad.
What?
They're
Why are
crazy
they?
lions.
I'm so confused. Humanoid just didn't recall and go bot lane to defend it. And yes, they eventually stop him from taking the inhib, but they end up giving up like so much. They had waves pushing in top lane and mid lane right there. That could have been a situation where you break both inner towers, you know, if you allocate your members to the lanes correctly, but instead they have to recall everyone, and now the Baron buff only has 1 minute and 20 seconds left.
At the end of the day, it is mostly effective Baron buff time burned.
Oh no, he stopped it.
Trying to fancy footwork his way out of this one. The Cataclysm going wide. Lissandra not in range to push ult as Humanoid goes right back. This is a bit embarrassing. Humanoid one more dash to get out to safety.
Just
Larssen
awkward.
now coming in. Now he can just go backwards though at any moment. They're trying to body block. They're not sure. The tether is there. They've locked him down for now, but the Seraka healing is coming in and Humanoid just walks away. Nice job. Trying to kill a team with the Seraka.
Meanwhile, mid lane.
Everything going to be breaking out here, though. Orome's on the side. They're trying to heal up. The suplex now comes in. Kaiser going to get taken down. Hansama on the backside of the fight. That TP coming in. It cannot be canceled. They want to mitigate what Humanoid can do. Stoneplate falling away as he chases down the support.
Carzzy coming up.
Just about unkillable. But Finn now on the way in. Carzzy wants to finish this one off. Takes down Finn and Mad Lions in a scrappy exchange. Still coming out on top.
It's just really a strange series of events right there, because Rogue obviously initiated onto Mad in the mid lane, even though they didn't have their jungle or from mid because there was actually no damage dealers from Mad Lions around, but they weren't able to finish off the kill, of course, because there's a Seraka right there healing literally everyone, and then Carzzy, who had pushed out bottom lane after defending the inhibitor, was able to come back up for the kill.
As we take a look back, it's an interesting play. You can see why Rogue want to commit, knowing how many resources are there topside, but Orome remains untouched for so long. Then they are able to find the single kill, but I feel like Finn just overcommitting here.
Yeah, well, I don't think he can realistically escape because Humanoid's teleport was coming through, so had he actually kept running away, it may have been just that he and VandeR went down, so him distracting some members there potentially ended up saving his support. Hard to call for sure, though. Now, we are back to the Ocean Soul game. Coming into this next fight, we do need to sort of take stock of summoner spells, you know, all the carries primarily, except on the side of Rogue. Hansama, Keely missing his. Finn's definitely should be back up by the time that one does spawn, but Hansama now in a very vulnerable position against Humanoid especially.
Carzzy. Oh, good damage. Not able to proc the passive there. Might have been death for Larssen. They're going to move in and contest this tower, though. They may not have had a Baron buff to do it, but Carzzy right back to full health. Can't keep the pressure up.
So I think the play from Rogue now is just going to be to leave Finn in the side lane because, again, no one from Mad wants to match. Humanoid doesn't have the teleport either, so they're all going to bundle up into this pit as 5 members and go for the Drake. Rogue, I don't think need to contest. At best, you go for the Smite Steal from Inspired, but even then, Mad Lions are so far away from getting that soul, this is the time you just take the inhibitor. You could even teleport Larssen to top lane if you wanted to push.
Things are coming in. Whirling Death on the way in! Not quite enough. Backing off, they've denied the soul for a little bit longer, bought themselves a bit more time on the side of Mad Lions. Rogue, though, have to be careful. Can't afford to give up too many more objectives. Only 2K difference, and as we get later, that number is going to mean less and less, because it's 3.5 items for Carzzy, the man with the potential to carry this team. Humanoid as well. Death Cap, Ludens, a little bit of Flat Pen.
Oh, this is a big flank. If they can catch Carzzy, the fight is really difficult to play out, even with the Seraka healing coming through.
Humanoid dashes in, is still locked up. They're going to pull him back to the facebreaker. They want to finish off the LeBlanc, but the healing is there from the Seraka, and Humanoid can still make it out to safety. Gets the ulti from Seraka, but trades it for Lissandra's.
Almost another isolated death, but he had Orome in there to help him out.
This is why teams hate playing against Seraka. I think it's definitely safe to say. Is
Yeah.
that whatever calculation you think you have that you can one-shot, it's completely wrong the second you enter a Seraka game.
I mean, also, there's just one source of grievous wounds right now, and it's Hansama, so he can only really hit one target at a time, unless he lands a sick ultimate. I'll give him that.
It's Draven too, right? He's not the flashiest, the fastest attacker. Yeah, he hits hard, but he's not hitting everybody.
That'll just mean that he's not hitting the targets that the rest of the team are trying to go for. It's going to be really hard for Rogue to ever finish off these kills, especially around the Baron. And remember, Mad Lions, if they have control over River, can start Baron whenever they want, because Orome is just going to be there to heal the front line. It's not like they'll actually take damage.
Carzzy and Orome can easily shred through that Baron without really anyone else to help outside of a Gragas Smite to help secure. And then the rest of the team can just wait in the darkness. And Shadow's got a lot of magic damage. Humanoid has a lot of magic damage, and there's not nearly enough magic resist across the board for some of these more vulnerable carries to deny these picks from coming through.
The difficult waters that Mad Lions have to navigate now is continuing to monitor Finn in the side lane, because you can see it's a constant call and response where Humanoid's trying to push out the opposite lane. He's like, okay, inhibitor's exposed, I need to go back down bot lane, but he still doesn't have the TP available. That's going to be a couple minutes away, so Baron buff is up. He doesn't have the ability to come on over here. Seraka cannot hold Finn by herself in the side lane. So in this situation, I actually think Finn should just go for a death push. You push in towards that bottom lane. You know you'll survive for so long that your team can certainly secure the Baron buff.
It does rely on Mad committing a lot of resources. For now, it's just
It's a 3-level lead for Humanoid, though. That's a big deal, so...
Well, and Finn is 1-4. The thing is yes, he's very threatening to that inhibitor, but they doesn't quite have the same threat to Humanoid at this stage of the game. Good news is Humanoid is down a TP, so if he overcommits there, he can't actually...
Yeah, and that's the thing, is if you are pushing bot lane, you see Humanoid, like he just did, Humanoid's still in bot lane, this is when I would expect Rogue to make a move in towards that topside river. You push out mid, you clear away the enemy wards, you put some deep wards, or you just double flank and go for it all.
They just want to force the fight. But they just need to delete the carries off the face of the map, but now they're running. Oh, Finn and Larssen, this is not the setup that you were hoping for. Larssen manages to make it out. The Cask missed time. Larssen makes it to safety. Carzzy goes in. Finn can potentially find the setup. Get ready. The facebreaker now coming back. They've got their eyes set on Orome, but they don't have enough damage to do it. The fight is split. Hansama has to run around in circles. He can't get any damage down as his team just falls apart. Mad
punishing Rogue for an over-aggressive play.
Rogue just tried to force so hard right there, and now they've lost their jungler. Mad Lions, they have the easiest Baron of their life right now. There's no way Rogue can steal it outside of Hansama chucking an ult in towards the pit. It was just completely unnecessary. Rogue had the steps they could have followed to get control over the Baron, but they double teleport in behind and force this fight where they're so far away from their team.
We talked about scaling an advantage. It feels like Rogue have to be painfully aware of that. Humanoid, though, waiting in the darkness, ready to make this Fang play. It's gonna step forward, buys a bit of time, extra damage. The lockup is there. Carzzy can't quite come over the wall, but it does not matter. The Witch is there. Hansama's ult does not connect. Humanoid knocked up. Rogue with access to the mid wave, but that's going to be about it. Another Baron falling in favor of Mad Lions.
And this is the fight again. I mean, these teleports are so far away from the rest of their team. Mad Lions see what's going on, and they immediately turn. This isn't a teleport flank, it's a 4 versus 2. Like, inspired Hansama VandeR, they're trying to make their way over here, but by the time they actually get here, so has Humanoid, and they're so far away zoned, Hansama can only hit a LeBlanc. He can't actually go for the front line, so it's just a constant runaway now from the Rogue team, and because Inspired is on Jarvan, who has to fully commit himself into any sort of a fight, as the jungler, he goes down, and now there's no way to play around Baron.
Just, honestly, fantastic reaction from Mad Lions. Identifying Orome backing off, knowing that they don't have enough resources to kill him, so the second Finn commits, they know that Sett is dead. And now this is Mad Lions' game to lose. I think they are firmly in control. That scaling that you talked about, the
100%.
unkillability of any Seraka composition is fully online. Of course, difficult for Carzzy to find target access in a pure front-to-back team fight, but they don't really need to play it that way. Humanoid already on the side lane, pushing in this wave. The team backing off, going to get their 3rd dragon of the game. Start to contest for that Ocean Soul.
Yeah, and the thing is, Carzzy not even going to be too worried about target access, because yes, in most games you would be, but with Rogue's comp, they're just sort of trying to bundle up and dive onto him. Yeah, he's just sitting there.
He can't hit towers very comfortably, but that doesn't really matter. He can hit everyone who has to dive face first into him. Ooh, all of Mad setting up a trap here in the jungle.
Okay, so Mad have completely ignored that top lane wave, just saying, we don't want to waste the time of the Baron to push that one out. We're instead just going to play a 2-lane setup here, but as you rightfully mentioned, very hard for them to siege outside of Humanoid. Level 18 in the side lane now. Rogue have to commit multiple members down there just to clear away the minion waves, let alone actually chase them down for a kill, as we've already seen them trying to do in the past. The problem now, actually no, the great thing is the waves are going to be relatively synced up, so the second these minions are being killed, it's already the wave pushing in towards mid lane and no one there to defend against Carzzy.
Fantastic syncing of the wave. Mad Lions have to be careful though.
Oh,
they find him, perfect!
Wow!
Pick. Carzzy now on a rampage, beautiful cast, coming in from Shadow, and now Humanoid right into the backline. Finn, all his health already gone, double kill for Carzzy. He should just be able to walk right into this base. Incredible, incredible pick.
That was just so sick right there. Waits for Larssen to walk up and then says, you're not going to react fast enough. Gets him immediately. Now Mad Lions can just push for the end here. There's not enough wave clear on the side of Rogue. And Mad Lions, they have some minions to work with.
And Mad Lions so well weathering the storm of the early game. Finding picks left and right. Getting past some of those early exchanges that looked so dire, but now absolutely unkillable here. You simply just cannot get through a Braum and a Seraka. Humanoid fearlessly diving in.
Carzzy!
Carzzy looking to style on it. They're going to try to pull him back into the fountain. They want to finish this with a suplex back. And to be fair, that is the price of greed. Sometimes it dunks you right back down. And if this ends the game,
are you gonna win?
Rogue are gonna turn the game in an instant. Larssen's now chasing. TP's not up. TP's not available. Flash for VandeR is there. He could pitch for the flash hook. Slow coming through. Larssen chasing. Did Carzzy just lose Mad the game? We've seen it before. Larssen's been there before. Sometimes you dive the fountain in a moment of stress and it turns your entire season against you. Was that Carzzy's moment is the question we're gonna be asking for the next 25 seconds. But it looks like everything is okay.
Carzzy just went nuts right there, all the way underneath the fountain. This is the replay we're going to watch, apparently. It's going to be bad news for all Mad Lions fans, because, look, Humanoid does a lot of work. That's so much damage, and then Carzzy, I don't know.
Okay,
That's a slam dunk if there ever was one.
All right, say what you want. But that's how I felt too. Watching someone get suplexed by Sett is never feels bad. Suplexed into the fountain, that's a new one.
Okay.
All right, reset.
Here's the thing, Drakos.
2K gold lead, triple ocean. You can see Mad Lions taking control back. I still feel like Rogue are out of this game, but their composition does mean if they ever execute the perfect fight, is possible.
It's still very, very hard, especially with the itemization coming through now from Carzzy. Remember, we talked about the late game. Well, Hansama up an entire item the entire match up until now, where Carzzy has a Zhonya's to finish things off.
Finn, zoned away by the silence there, will retreat. Predator proc for Shadow. Everyone painfully aware of the cask, as it has just come off cooldown.
There's 3 Zhonyas on the side of Mad Lions.
Why do I feel like we're in for a 60-minute game, VandeR?
No, the next fight is actually going to end it because Rogue don't have the like their combo is burst, right? That's how they win the fight. They beat you before Seraka can spam heal, but now they can't even burst because there's 3 Zhonyas and a stopwatch.
See what they can get for now to his minions. Finn really hoping to find something here. Larssen, it's a similar story, but the vision from Mad is solid. Not going to let themselves get flanked so easily.
If Rogue are going to win, it has to be a team fight right before this Baron spawns, or as it spawns. They need to win the fight, take the Baron, and then try to push for an end. Otherwise, it's so hard.
Careful, VandeR knocked in. Finn now trying to run face first in the middle. Everybody, Hansama with no clear target access. The pullback, the face breaker, the dunk down. But is it enough? Hansama now contested. Rogue, you wanted a miracle under, and we might just see it. Orome, will he fall? Hansama running, backing off. Larssen,
they can't kill him!
Going down. Larssen, is he going to be able to find anything else? The knockdown, Humanoid, the shutdown. It's a beautiful fight for Mad Lions. A double kill for Carzzy, and Mad Lions can just walk right into the base. What a way to end the game.
It is not possible to kill this Mad Lions team, and this time Carzzy doesn't have the killer instinct, so it's gonna be the win for the Mad Lions.
Absolute banger. Call it what you want, but I loved every second. Incredible game. The calling, how calm and collected Mad Lions remained throughout a game where a single missed fight could have ended it against them.
It was all about the fights, one after another.
And whoever saw both those TPs, I don't know who it was, is MVP.
Oh, that won them the game right there.
Hands down. That was the last breath of Rogue.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the gold graphs too, right? Right up until that double TP, it was Misfits with that lead ever since, the level 1 was a complete disaster for them, but they turned things around, they got Hansama that kill, and they had, the perfect team fight that they were able to set up. Unfortunately, it was just when they got separated, when they weren't able to execute the 5v5s the way they needed to be able to, that's when Seraka says, hey, if you're not on your A game, you're just gonna lose.
Yeah, those fights were quite brutal to watch, I think, towards the end. Because you see, if you're like me and you live for the hype ultimates, you see Larssen going in. You see the big showstopper coming in for Sett. And then you realize they're at 50% health. You're like, that's not bad. Hansama can clean up. And then within 2 seconds, you see all those health bars fill right back up. Yeah. And the entire team fight just falls apart. Of course, Kia player of the game at LEC, Orome, Humanoid, or Carzzy. A lot of solid options there. Orome, I will say, very good at pushing R and W. Those are the most important buttons. Carzzy also very active in pushing R. Not all of them as good, so really follow your heart here.
Yeah, there's, just like Carzzy did, he followed his heart in that one. Ended up costing him.
Sometimes diving in the Nexus is just the way the game has to go. Well, in a few minutes, Laure's going to sit down with Inspired to learn more about that game, more about this Rogue lineup, and later tonight, Caps and Reckless face off in an epic duel in the bottom lane. Let's see what the former teammates think about that matchup.
Going up against Reckless will be very weird. I think Reckless is probably the person I've played with for the longest, and he's also the guy who taught me the most. So to face off against like my old mentor is kind of like a student beating his teacher kind of thing, and I'll see if I can do it.
It's a scary matchup for sure, but I've never really felt the rivalry myself. I don't really mind that he's bot lane or mid lane or wherever. I think at first I really cared for it, because then I was in this kind of weird situation where I despised him for having us start over. But now that we've reached the point of actually being able to win everything, I feel like it's whatever. He's just another ex-teammate that I've had 20 or 30 of anyway, so it's okay.
I feel like you wanna taste the tickles over my face. Let me direct you the way.
Stop.
Hello, everybody. Let the game begin.
You don't have a chance against me. I can calculate 90 trillion moves in advance. Not fair. Not fair.
Red Bull gives you wings.